I just looked at a map and actually it came down to, I said, I want to go somewhere weird where when I tell the story, people even in this building are going to go, really? I've never been there, you know? And so we narrowed it down to Burma, Mongolia, Turkmenistan, basically all the stands, which you know better than I. Um, like New Guinea, uh, and Madagascar. And then I started looking at flights and how much they cost, right? And believe it or not, Mongolia was the cheapest one. And you also got to keep in mind, I'm on a GS scale, like a GS8, making $40,000 a year with tax. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm pulling in like hard dough, $28,000 maybe, you know, like rents $1,500 at the time. So, you know, do the math on that. Like, that's more than half of the money that I have in my pocket at any given time. And I like to go out, so I was dead broke. But I was able to use all of the miles I had accumulated when I was in sales to get to Beijing for free. Direct flight from DC. Awesome. And then I had to pay for the flight to Ulaanbaatar, and then in reverse. I won't get into everything I did in Mongolia. It was really cool. Went to the Gobi Desert, did some like falcon hunting, eagle hunting, stuff like that with the bird, you know, goes and hunts for you. Cool stuff. Rode some camels, rode some horses. It was fun. All by myself. And to this day, that's the funnest vacation I've ever been on. And it's the only one I've ever done alone. Would I go on a vacation alone again? I don't know. It was lonely. I will tell you it's lonely. But I was also, I think, like 24 years old. And it was the first big adventure of my life. You know, Pee-wee's big adventure. I'd never done anything cool like that before, or really like on my own adventurous. And it was also kind of a test for me. I felt in a way to see like, is this even the lifestyle that you want? Because at that point I had probably been to 3 countries overseas total. Never had been to Europe, you know, nothing like that. So it was like, if you can do this, then, you know, maybe you can do this as a career. But I needed to prove it, I think, to myself. Very few people speak English in Mongolia. Why would they? It's only 3 million people in the 7th largest country in the world. You know, and most of them had not seen an American before. They think you're Russian. They call you Ruski, you know. They all speak Russian, so you would have fit in. Or Mongolian. Anyway, the point of it is that I had a great time. Still probably one of the coolest, it may be the coolest thing I've ever done, in so much that I have very rarely ran into somebody who's been to Mongolia. And if they have, been to some of the places I went to. I had 3 weeks by myself, and when you have no one else to tell you, I don't really feel like going to the desert today, you can cover a lot of ground, you know? And so I really look back at that with fondness, even though it's been about 10 years ago, 9 years ago since I did that. And I haven't done probably anything in that capacity since. But I think it was the first step to a lifestyle like this, you know. I know you had been on your mission and stuff like that and had probably seen a lot of countries just in that capacity. Whereas, you know, I had never traveled, and to pick that off the beaten path, all my friends and family and stuff were like, why do you have to do everything in the extreme? Why not start with Mexico? Or, yeah, I've not been to Mexico. Why not start with London? Start with Athens or Rome? And for me, it was like, because ideally, if things go right, my first tour will be Afghanistan. So, that's not going to correlate. And, I can't go visit there. So let's see if I can be outdoors Doug on my own time, having never done it before. And it was a real wake up call. And I came back, and it may sound corny, but I, uh, I don't know, like I hadn't been, I'm from the Midwest, like you don't do weird things like that. And so it was the first time I had like really been out of my comfort zone and wondered what's going on while you're riding in a car with two Mongols who aren't bothering to speak English to you right now and not giving you an update on which way they're driving in the desert with you, and there's no roads, and maybe they decide they're just tired of you being with them today and you can walk back, and so I know that feeling, but for me I had not had that before, the uncertainty of being in a foreign country and being alone. And I think being able to do that and draw back on that was really huge for me, because I also think it matured me to the level of guys like you and my counterparts who had done that, whereas I was still a kid, and not to say that made me a man, because it didn't, but it definitely gave me better perspective. She just went in the men's restroom. Let's see how fast this lady comes out of there. Anyway, so yeah, that's my big travel story of being a trainee, and it's what I remember the most about it.